Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. Cricket is coming thick and fast. Finally, we've had a long wait. Some very exciting cricket as we've been talking about. We spoke about the India Australia. We spoke about the South Africa England series. We will now be reviewing the New Zealand versus West Indies. Some exciting talent again. I mean, it's just kind of feels like we're repeating ourselves, but some very good talent on show again as usual. West Indies, they are the T20 legends. A lot of them have some really prolific T20 careers. New Zealand cannot be written off. Of course, they have a very good, solid team going into as well. They will miss Kane Williamson as usual. We have Musti and me kind of just going through the preview. Musti, your thoughts on this series? Interesting cricket, but West Indies look like they have a little bit of an edge, especially considering Kane Williamson might not be playing.
Yeah, I mean, the defending T20 champions versus New Zealand, who are really good, an excellent side at home. We saw that throughout, even last year when India told that they're brilliant at home. T20 is a format that it brings the both teams on a more level playing field. I think West Indies will actually probably go in as favorites, but they're also missing some big players. There's no Chris Gayle, there's no Evan Lewis playing there as well, so they'll be missing some, and no Andre Russell as well. I think purely based on form, if I'm not mistaken, for Russell, but I'm not sure about that. But yeah, there's no Russell as well. So some big players not there from West Indies team who we saw in the T20 World Cups when they were successful. Right. But they still have the likes of Hetmeyer, Nicholas Pooran, Karan Pollard. I think excellent captain we saw in the CPL and IPL, was very successful. So yeah, they'll want to come out strong and show why they're defending champions, and then moving towards the World Cup. If they can get the other players back, a couple at least, maybe the likes of Lewis and for sure Russell as well, it'll make them stronger. So, but yeah, I think it's a good thing. Even New Zealand, no Williamson, he's going to be a big loss. I think Sadi also, he's going to be there for the first two games, and then Santner will take over as captain. So it'll be very interesting to see new leader, how they're going to do in Williamson's absence. But this team generally is strong. They have a system. They stick to that system. They're always underdogs going into World Cups as well. But yeah, I think they will compete. They have some. I think the likes of Jamieson and Ferguson, even Sadi to a certain extent, they provide a lot of firepower with the ball, and with the bat. There'll be some new players, but you have good old Ross Taylor there in the middle order if things get a bit shaky.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think some fair points over there. Some interesting points. I think that New Zealand will, like you said, underdog somewhat, but usually punch above their weight almost every single time. So never can be written off. I completely agree with your points. As Pollard as captain, he's just been very good for in the CPL, in the IPL when Rohit Sharma was injured as well. He took over and he did a decent job over there as well. So some good cricket to look forward to. Your ideal 11.
Yeah, for New Zealand, I mean, at the opening slot, I'll go with Conway. He's going to make his debut. They don't have many options. He's the option there. He's going to be a young lad. I haven't seen much of him, but it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Let's see if he's a big hitter and how he'll play alongside Guptill. Guptill will be my number 2. One down, it's between Mark Chapman and Glenn Phillips. I'll just go with Glenn Phillips. I've seen a bit of him. I think he can rotate the strike and he can hit the big hits when needed. He'll be one down. Obviously playing in the position of Kane Williamson, big position to fill. Ross Taylor, number 4, that's his position, no argument there. Tim Seifert, number 5, I think we saw some good performances even against India last year. So him, and then Jimmy Neesham, number 6, he can play that finishing role, the big hits, provide the big hits, and even with the ball, he'll be crucial. 7, I'll go Santner. Again, I think he can hit it, and he'll be important in the power. He can be used in the power play as well with the ball. Then I'll go 8 Sadi, 9 Jameson, 10 Ferguson, and then 11 Ish Sodhi with that leg spin and pick up those wickets. So I think a balanced side. The bowling does look strong. Batting a bit inexperienced, but the likes of Guptill and Taylor can bring in that experience. So if they can guide those youngsters, I think you can see this New Zealand team perform.
Yeah, I think for a change, not too many options to play with. I think that's pretty much the solid 11. I think they have also only gone with like 13 or 14 players. Yeah. So they haven't even gone with too much bench strength. They're just going to kind of want to play this game out, play the series out, kind of just get their players back in kind of some contention. First time cricket for many of them. So yeah, I think I agree with your team 100%. And then West Indies.
West Indies. So there's normally I think they go Lewis and Simmons or Lewis and Gayle, but none of them are there. So I'll go Andre Fletcher. Then I'll go probably Brenton King. as my opening batsman. Fletcher, I've seen him. He can tonk it when needed. We've seen in this CPL as well. And then now one down, I'll go Shimron Hetmeyer, man. The guy, unbelievable talent. Uh, he had sparks in the IPL as well. We saw some good innings there. I think one down is a good position. If he can, if he can be in good form, good touch, he can take the game away from you. So
Right.
I'm excited to see him. And then two down, Nicholas Puran. These two, I think, are the most exciting talent in the T20 format in the middle order, like from the young group, but they have yet to hit the mark. If they can hit the mark on the international stage, it'll be unbelievable to watch. So I'll go Puran 4, and then Pollard 5, bringing that experience. He's had a really good IPL with the bat as well, with the ball as well. So Pollard 5, Rahman Powell 6. I think he can finish it off. He can hit those big hits. 7, Kimo Paul. Very good with the ball in the death overs. I think not this IPL, the IPL before last IPL with Delhi, we saw him in the death overs. He bowled really well. So I go Kimo Paul there, and he can hit as well if needed. Fabian Allen, he was on the Sunrisers bench. And gun fielder, excellent fielder. He's a good spinner as well and can hit when needed. Then Cottrell, hopefully he's recovered from that Sharjah 5-6s. Cottrell at 9, then Ocean Thomas at 10, and Kesrick Williams at 11. So yeah, some decent bowling there.
Yeah, I think I agree with that team as well. I think there's a pretty solid. I agree with your points on Shimron Hetmeyer and Nicholas Puran. I think Nicholas Puran did a very, very good job in the IPL. Shimron Hetmeyer, we saw a little bit less of that talent on show, but I think I'm very, very excited to see.
Yeah, Puran, some
Especially
unbelievable
Puran,
innings.
he's just amazing. Pretty solid setup over there as well. I think I agree with your team. Carlos Brathwaite maybe has a outside chance at number 6 maybe if needed, because they have enough bowling to kind of cover with Pollard also chipping in with the ball. But I think I agree with you. Fair enough. I think that's solid teams on both ends over there. Your players to watch out for in each team.
So from New Zealand, I would probably want to see Nisham. I think he can provide both with bat and ball. He hasn't lived up to his expectations recently. I think he has a lot of talent, and I think this is the time for him to shine. So I think I'm going to watch Nisham. And for West Indies, it's between Hetman and Puran. I'll want to see Puran. I think more of what he did in the
pick.
I could go Hetmeyer as well, like one of those two. But yeah, I just want to see him carry on from the IPL and light it up the international stage. If he can light it up, this West Indies team will look really strong if you add some other players going into the World Cup.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think for me, Lockie Ferguson, I just want to see he kind of had an incredible debut in the IPL and then kind of tapered off a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think he has some immense talent over there. So I'd like to see if he can really not necessarily take the leadership role, because I think Southee is there as well. But I just want to see how he'd perform. Kind of back in familiar territory for him somewhat, and then for me, I think I can't look past Puran. I think he's one of the guys that I'm really looking forward to in the next kind of few years of cricket to come, and some really good talent over there, and I'd like to see that on show. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
This is a slightly more tricky one to kind of pick the winner. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is going to be very close. It's not going to be that easy to pick the winner. I was just checking, there's 3 T20s, right? 3 games, I think it'll be very close. It'll be 1-1, go to the decider, and I'll just tip West Indies, I think, for the third game. But also the pitch and conditions will be interesting. If it's flat deck, it's suiting the batsman, I would tip West Indies. If it's a bit more bowling conditions, I think New Zealand have some crazy bowlers and they can utilize the conditions. And they can trouble the top order, the West Indian top order. So it'll depend a bit on the conditions, maybe not as much, but I'm just tipping West Indies. I think smaller grounds, these batsmen are going to love it, man. And these guys deal in 6s, so that's what it is. Like they'll turn a 180 score to do 20. So yeah, I'm backing West Indies 2-1.
I'm just gonna go with New Zealand just because I have a feeling that they might.
Home team, yeah, you never know.
So we'll see how it goes. But I think that wraps it up. Again, looking forward. Catch you right after.
Yeah, for sure, man. Enjoy the games. It's gonna be a hectic Friday, but it'll be a lot of fun. After a long break, it'll be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, looking forward. Take care.
All right, take care. You too. Thank you.